Here, I try to show you a good view of what that open center looks like. You can see down here in the middle, we got nothing growing inward. We've got all that cut out. Got all of our scaffolds pointing out of it. All right, welcome back to Buckeye Gardener Channel. Today we're going to trim our fruit trees. These are bare root trees I planted last spring. When I planted it, you see the cage here in the background. They were down about the second rung, so they were about this tall. So this thing grew 3 foot in the first year. This is an apple tree. I think it's this Honeycrisp. I planted 3 apples, 2 peaches. Now 2 of these apples were bare root and the peaches were bare root. There was one I got in a pot from Tractor Supply. It was a Honeycrisp that this Honeycrisp should pollinate. But anyhow, I planted it next to it. I'll show you the difference in it later. It did not grow near as well as this bare root. I was really happy with the way these turned out. I did a video last week where I showed you how we sprayed them and stuff. I'd rather have cut them and then sprayed them, but the way the weather was working out, I would have given them sprayed while it was warm last week. Right now, it's March 3rd, and these trees are still dormant right now, but the next 2 weeks, we're going to have temperatures up in the 70s, close to 80 a couple times next week. So I want to get these trimmed today before they start to bud. So let me show you real quick what I'm going to do here with these fruit trees. All right, so there's 2 different ways to trim your fruit trees. There's the central leader method and open center method. The central leader method we're going to use on our apple trees, and the cherry trees I'm going to be planting here later this year. Next year we'll trim them in the central leader. The open center is what we're going to use on the peaches, and if you had plum trees, it's what you use on plums. What you'll do is you'll cut the central leader off, bring the scaffolds out, and let light and air down in to air out the middle. So we'll show that second. First we're going to do the central leader, okay? Let me back the camera up a little bit so you can see down low here, see what we got going on, and I'll show you how we're going to do this one. All right, so I'm actually gonna hold my phone to do this. I think you can see it better this way. So what we've got here is some small branches down below. In case you wonder what these pot balls are for, I got rebar driven, had a tree tied to, and I had a little bit of damage right here. Now this one's, I think it's gonna be okay, but I just threw the water bottle on there last fall to give it a little bit of protection there. I'm gonna actually pull this post out, I think, today. So let's start down here low. You see here, we got a couple small branches. We're gonna wanna cut them off. You don't wanna cut them right against the tree. You want to leave a little bit there. All right, so apparently I shut my phone off in the middle of trying to hold it and do it. That didn't work very well. We'll reposition when we do the other one here. I just wanted to back it up where you can see a little bit what we got going on. At the top here, let's see here. Got this one back here. So the reason we're trimming these is because we're leaving that bud right on the bottom. We want that branch to keep growing out. We want our scaffolds almost parallel with the ground. So we want to keep them out. So if we do that, you don't want them going up too high. This up here, that'll keep that branch going out. Let's do that for now. I'll probably end up cutting this branch here in a couple years anyway. So we left about a 1/4 inch or so. That bud should continue that branch growth. And this one's growing really straight up. I was going to go ahead and cut it off. Seems like it might be a little thick right there anyway. Now I'm thinking about it, I don't know if you can see this, I'm gonna cut it off too. I don't like the way it's growing there. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. Set of scaffolds there. All right, so these top couple here, let's take this one here too. Let's take it off back here. And let's cut this one back a good ways. Actually, let's cut this one off and make this our nice central leader. And then let's cut about 1/3 off of it. Let's see which way the tree's leaning. It's actually fairly straight. I'm starting to branch out. Let's cut it right here. And that might direct it that way a little bit, straighten it up a little bit. So that's how our apple tree looks now. You can see there's a big difference what we started with. Here's a dead branch I missed here. Now, we don't really want to, we're not aiming to get any fruit off this tree this year. This is just trimming it up, make the branches stronger. Maybe next year we'll try to get a little bit of fruit. And there's a couple buds on here that may fruit. Well, I don't know, we'll find out here in a few weeks, I guess. But that's what we did with that tree. Let me show you the other one real quick, what we did with it too. All right, this one here, pretty much the same thing. Get rid of a couple of these bottom branches. I'm gonna leave these ones on here for now. I'll probably end up taking them off here in a couple of years because I'm gonna have to keep cages around and keep the deer off of them. So I don't want anything down low getting too big. I need to get them up in the air a little bit, keep the deer away. It'll be a little harder to get the apples, but these trees should be nice and tall. Shouldn't be a problem. But for now, let's go ahead and cut them off. That's a big branch there. What are we gonna do with that one? Let's cut it off right here. Let's see what happens with that. All right, let's see. Nice scaffolds here. That one's coming up. Let's cut this off. I don't like the way that's going to the inside. Let's see. Let's make this just one. Let's go ahead and cut this and make that a scaffold for now. Or wait, do we want to? Let's see here. Maybe I'll leave both of them. But there, get rid of. Cut this one here. It's angled this way a little bit, kind of keep it away from that middle. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that one off. Let's go to the back side here. What we got on this one? Let's cut this one a little bit longer. Oh, there's a dead spot in that there. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Well, let's see here. Get that off. All right, so now we're getting up to our central leader. Let's see which one we want to use here. There's a 3 coming out of it. Let's use one of those 2. I'd kind of like to leave that. I don't know if I want to or not. I need to cut one of those off. Which one looks like the better central leader? This one's off pretty far. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. All right. Let's go ahead and trim this one back a little bit. And I'm gonna cut this one off up here. I'm gonna try to get it to grow back in some. There's a bud right here on this side. Cut that off. This one here is not too bad. It's starting to grow out nice. Let's see if we can cut that bud. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one off. All right. So that one, there's a huge difference in that. You can see it. I cut a little more off of it than I think I wanted to, but it's going to be okay. I'm hoping to steer. This central leader's really got an angle to it, so I want to bring it back. So I cut it right here by this bud, hoping that bud will grow back in. We can straighten it up a little bit. I think I'm going to go ahead and take the support off of these trees because I don't want them to damage them anymore. Maybe I'll leave it on there. This one seems a little bit looser than some of them, so maybe I'll leave them tied up here. All right, so let's show you a peach tree real quick, show you what the open center cut looks like. All right, so here's our peach tree. This thing grew really good last year. Both these peach trees, I was really impressed. When I got them, they were about this tall. They were cut off right here. You can almost see where they were cut, and they've branched out since then. They was about that tall, and I planted them, and they actually kind of had blooms when I got them. I planted them. They didn't do anything for like a month. I was afraid they were dead, and then all of a sudden they took off, and then later in the summer, they really grew like crazy. So we're going to give a lot of trimming to this one. So let me show you what we got down here on the bottom here. So we got a couple sprouts coming off down low, and that's above the graft, so that is the peach tree, but let's go ahead and get rid of that. We don't want that on there. All right, it's probably the only one I need the loppers for. So let's see here. We want, cut this one off, this one. I'm gonna go ahead and take these 2 off. I kind of thought about leaving them, but I don't think, you know what, maybe I'll need my loppers for that one. Give it a nice clean cut. All right, clean these little branches here up. Again, we're not aiming to get fruit off of it this year. That's not our goal. We want this thing to grow good. Hopefully next year we can get a little bit off of it. So let me bring you in a little closer here. You can see what I got going on. All right, so we're gonna really do a number to this thing here. It's gonna look awful, I think, when we're done, but it's gonna look good here once it starts growing. But all these branches here, let's get rid of these little ones. Let's see here. Yeah, let's get rid of them too. Get rid of that one. Okay, so here's our 3 main scaffolds. We're gonna leave those there. So we wanna come up these ways. We wanna cut some of this off. We want these things to grow out a little bit more. So there's a nice one coming out right here off of that. So I think I'm gonna go like this and cut that whole thing off. Now, there would have been some fruit on there this year. There's plenty of buds. It probably would have been some fruit, but the tree's so weak and he's direct itself outward more and get growing to get stronger before it makes fruit, because it's just going to damage it if you don't. So we're going to get rid of all that. I know it looks harsh, but I believe it's going to pay off in the long run. So now let's come over to this one. Let's see what we got over here. Let's get rid of this. Let's see. Get rid of this dead, dying stuff. That one there. So this tree here has got some damage on the bark too. This leader here may not end up making it, so I'm gonna leave that one there for now. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that pole out. This tree here is pretty sturdy. I think that one might have caused a little damage. I guess I didn't have a water bottle in those ones for the winter. But the tree's pretty sturdy. I think it'll be okay. Like I said, we may end up, if we get another branch starting one of these days, maybe we'll start another scaffold off of that. But for now, that one will be fine, I think. Let's get it up here a little bit. There's some nice buds right here trying to grow out. Let's do that. Let's cut them off there. Try to get that branch come out a little bit more. And up here, let's do the same thing. Let's cut this one off. Let's cut it off out here. Now, right here, these two are splitting. This one's coming up. Let me move the camera over here. You get a better angle on that one. See what I got going on here. Let's see. I want it to grow out. So I want to leave this one, I think. So let's cut this off. Let's make that our new leader coming off that scaffold. Let's get rid of this branch. All right. And that one there, I really want to cut it off too, but I kind of want to see what it'll do. Let's go ahead and trim it right here. Let's see, right here, there's one growing outward. And then let's cut a little bit off of this. And a little bit off of this. All right, dead branch there. All right, so we cut a lot off of that tree. I hope it'll be okay. I know it looks rough now, but I really think there's lots of buds all over this thing, so they should really bloom out this year. But now you can see the center of this thing's open, all in the middle here. Like I said, I'll probably end up coming back cutting this off someday. I'm just gonna leave it for now, give it a little bit of leaves. Same with this branch. You can see it's got a little bit of damage right there. I think it'll be okay though. I like the way that turned out. Let's do the other tree real quick. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing with this one. Come down low. Get rid of all this stuff. These ones here are dead. Again, I sprayed these a couple weeks ago. I would have liked to have did this first, but just we had a warm day. I wanted to get them sprayed good. Leave that one for now. Let's go ahead and get rid of this one. That one's coming off very nicely. Let's cut that off. Let's see here. I'm gonna leave that. That one's dead. Cut that back. Put this off up here. Let's see. Cut everything out. Anything pointing to the middle, get rid of. You don't want anything going to the middle of these. Let's go ahead and trim this one up a little bit. Let's go right back here. Let's see. Cut this off. It's coming out, growing off there nice. Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna pull the poles out. That one's got some damage on it too, but I think it'll be okay. Let's see, that one's coming out nice there. Let's cut it right there. Now, coming up, here's our three main. We're going to probably cutting these off in a couple years. I just want to leave them there now, get some good leaves going. It does need some leaves to make it grow good, so let's come up here. See if we can't get that to go out a little bit more. All right, same thing over here. We'll leave this one on here for this year. Cut this one out, it's going to the middle. Cut this one out. Like I said, anything going to the middle. Let's go ahead and get rid of that one. Let's give this one a cut. Ooh, I kind of want it down here. We'll cut it right here for now. And then over here, same thing, we'll come up. Let's cut it right there. All right. You can see we cut a lot off that one too, probably 2 feet, 3 feet. That's about how tall they were when I planted them last year, but it's got a good root base on them now. Should grow really good. Here, I try to show you a good view of what that open center looks like. You can see down here in the middle, we got nothing growing inward. We've got all that cut out. Got all of our scaffolds pointing out of it. We'll check this other peach tree over here. Same deal on it. Oh, there's a dead branch. How'd I miss that? Go ahead and cut that one off. We don't want that in there. Like I said, anything dead, dying, disease looking, all the D's, cut them all out of there. We don't want anything like that. There's some down low. I didn't do a very good job on this one. And like I said, I'm gonna pull these rebar out here in a little bit and pull that. That's like a Velcro strap I had on. It seemed like it worked pretty decent. Some of them blew off over the summer, but anyhow, here's the open center looking down. You can see it's all open. That bar will be out of there. So everything's gonna grow outward on these. That's what you want. All right, so this is that Honeycrisp I planted last year, and I don't have the camera up high enough. It's about as tall as the other ones, but when I got it, it was 1.5 feet taller than them. So those have grown twice as much as these did last year. That being said, it's still a good looking tree. I think it's gonna do fine. Let's go ahead and do the same thing with it. Remember this central leader like the other apple trees we did? So we'll come down here, let's get rid of some of this stuff. We don't want anything too low. I left some of these on the other ones, but we're gonna trim these ones, I think. Come up here. Let's cut that one. This has got a little damage spot. We'll get rid of it. All right, now we'll let them start growing out. We're gonna do the same thing we did on the other ones. Give a little trim here. Leave that for now. Come up here, give this a little trim. This one here. Bring this out. Give this one a little cut. And that's a nice central leader all the way to the top. I think I'm gonna leave that one this year. We'll see what it does. We'll leave these scaffolds here coming off of them. We're just gonna leave that all alone right there. So I think that one will be okay. See the top there a little bit. Nice skinny top, leaving little scaffolds. I think that one will do fine. All right, so that's what we did with our fruit trees this year. This is the first year doing this, so I did some research. I got a book there, I forget what it was called. I think it's Fruit Gardener's Bible or something. It had some really good information in it. Watched some videos, read some stuff about it, and I hope that everything's gonna work out good here. Like I said, first time doing it, but I just want to show you how I did it this year. Hopefully next year we can show in another video and show you how much it grew that year and what the cuts I made did, and we can compare them with this year's. That was the plan, hopefully. But anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and pull these stakes out of these trees. They're pretty sturdy now. I don't think we need them in there anymore. They got a nice root base on them. Like I said, it was a year ago I planted them. So I've got some more bare root trees coming here in about a month and a half, about April 20th, sometime in there. I'll do a video on how I planted them. I'll do the same thing I did with these last year because they grew like crazy. So make sure you like and subscribe. That way you can catch that video if you want to see how I planted them. And hopefully we can compare the difference between the freshly bought ones and these ones. You can see the height difference on how much thicker they are and everything. Get a good eye of what you got when you bought them. So anyhow, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on the Buckeye Gardener channel.